Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. So today I will elaborate more the basic science process skills. But before we proceed, let me expound this for you to understand kung unsa jud ni siya. So ang basic science process skills, everyone, are fundamental skills that students use to explore, understand, and learn science. So they are called basic. So gitawag sila og basic. It's because they are the starting point of scientific learning. Before ang students mo perform og experiments, mo solve og scientific problems I mean, or understand complex concepts, so they must first develop these simple but very important skills. So mauna siya. And also ang science, everyone, is not just about memorizing facts. It is about observing carefully, organizing information, explaining ideas clearly, and thinking logically. So kana nga habits of thinking begin with these basic science process skills. The simpler ang basic science process skills is nag-provide po siya og foundation for science learning. It's because they train the students. They train students to on how to think like scientists. So that's it. So if kana nga skills is weak siya, so ang students may struggle when they encounter more advanced tasks in higher grade levels. So mao na siya. So as a future teacher sa elementary, so it's your responsibility to make sure that these skills are continuously developed. So ang kaning nga skills dili lang kay siya kausahon nimo og introduce sa imong mga students, kundi imo siyang balik-balikon og practice. Kay ang ability to kay ang progress sa students, ang students progress man is through grade levels. So ang ilang abilities are to observe, classify, and communicate. Communicate should become more accurate, detailed, and scientific. So that's it. Ang basic science process skills, everyone, is nag-includes bud siya og number one is observing. So ang observing, everyone, is the ability to gather information. So siya maoy mo gather og information. So and also ang observing nagamit po siya og five senses. So what are those five senses? So those are seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, and tasting. So those are the five senses. And also ang observation pud, everyone, siya maoy first step in any scientific activity. Like before ang students mo explain something uh, or mo do something, so they must carefully observe it. So as we all know naman, di ba, ang elementary kay more on observation jud na siya. Like before sila mo buhat og butang, so ila jud nang observeron first. So mao na ang mga elementary students. However, However, everyone ang observing in science is different from simply looking. So, nag-requires po siya og attention to nag-require po siya og attention to detail. So, ang students must describe exactly what they notice kung unsay ilang na-notice without adding opinions. So that is observing. Like for example, instead of saying the plant looks healthy. So ang better observation ana is the plant has green leaves and stands upright. So that is observation. Observation also everyone is nag-train siya sa students to focus on facts rather than assumptions. So, in that case, makatabang po na siya sa mga bata makatabang po siya sa mga bata para ma-develop ang ilang ma-develop ang ilang patience and curiosity. So, mao na ang observation. Next ang classifying. So, ang classifying is grouping objects. Grouping objects based on similarities and differences. So, kini nga skill is helpful siya for students to organize information. So, it becomes para bitaw easier ra siya to understand. And also classification is based on what students observe. So nag-base po siya sa kung unsay na obserbaran sa mga bata. Like for example, grouping objects into plants and animals. So di-classify sa nag-grouping ang mga bata nag-grouping ang mga students og objects like ilang gi classify into plants and animals. Another example is sorting animals into mammals, birds, reptiles, and fish. So ang buhaton ni sa mga estudyante is ilang i-classify ang animals or ilang i-sort out like mammals ba diri, like ilang ibitaw i-classify nila ang mammals baron diri, birds and reptiles, then fish. So muna ang classification. So ang classification for everyone classifying is nagdevelops pud siya og critical thinking. It's because students must decide what characteristics are important. So ang classifying is magdevelop na siya og critical thinking sa mga students. So in that case, makatabang po na siya sa mga bata for them to understand patterns and relationships. So that is classifying. Another basic skills is communicating. Communicating in science means expressing observations, findings, and ideas clearly using like spoken words, written reports, drawings, tables, graphs, and symbols. So ang science everyone is not only about discovering information but also sharing it accurately. So that is observation. So mao na siya. So ang communication everyone also helps students explain their thinking and supports understanding. So when students communicate clearly, they also develop confidence. So if ang students can communicate clearly, so ma-develop jud nila ang ilang confidence. So, mao na ang communication. As students progress to higher levels, communication becomes more formal. They may write they may write scientific reports, create graphs, and use proper scientific terms. So you should as future teachers, um, what will you do? So you should encourage your students to explain their answers, teach them on how to record data properly, and let them present their findings in class. So that's it for the basic science process skills. So I hope na mo learn, and thank you.